since 2005. American manufacturers are hiring again, creating jobs for the first time since the late 1990s.
Let's turn to Congressman Keith Ellison of Minnesota, co-chair of the Congressional Progressive Caucus. Great to have you with us. You know, a lot of newscasts are not led with the numbers that the president just talked about. He came out and laid out what he called the facts tonight. How important was it for him to do?
It was essential. Americans need to know what he really has been doing. But he hit three critical points for me, Ed. One, he got up there and he said that he's ready to fight for the American middle class and working class. He said, you might say class warfare, but I'm here to fight for the working class. Talked about tax fairness and saying that the most wealthy and most privileged among us have to pony up and do their fair share. And then he said that he was going to fight for financial reform and really made a point of saying that Richard Corday's appointment was something he was proud of. So, you know, to me, if you could make a little money and you can keep a little money and, you know, we can get some manufacturing jobs going, that's really what we need.
You were in the chamber, obviously. I was too. I was up in the gallery. There was a lot of good news that the president was talking about tonight that got no reaction from a lot of Republicans. It was economic news about 22 months of private sector job growth, the number of jobs that have been created and saved, and then the automobile industry. I looked over the edge. I was absolutely stunned at I was looking at the Republicans. They sat there and said, well, that's just not really that important.
Amazing. Well, he did make a comment that some people thought he shouldn't have saved the American auto industry. They were absolutely wrong. Just go ask anybody in Michigan how they feel about GM returning to success.
Okay, so did the president, was he visionary enough for you for this year? I mean, do we know where we're going? You know, I will say this. I didn't feel like it was an election year if I didn't know it. I mean, I didn't see, there was not a lot of lines out there. In fact, there was a lot of talk about we as a country, as a team, as a people, we can do a lot. And I thought that was an important message throughout, a good theme, especially the way he ended it. What do you think?
Well, I think he has to be who he is. That's who he is. He is a consensus builder. He wants to bring us together. But what he said about manufacturing really thrilled me. I was excited to hear about it because I'm from Detroit, Michigan. I represent Minnesota now, both manufacturing states, and you know, we make stuff, we build stuff, and we're good at it. But we cannot give companies that want to offshore an unfair advantage. And he was talking about rewarding patriotic corporations. What about time for that?
Here's what the president said about bringing more jobs back to our shores. Here it is.
So we have a huge opportunity at this moment to bring manufacturing back. But we have to seize it. Tonight, my message to business leaders is simple. Ask yourselves what you can do to bring jobs back to your country. And your country will do everything we can to help you succeed.
What does that mean? Going to do everything you can. We're going to have all kinds of tax breaks and tax credits out there? What?
Well, I hope it means that our government's going to help manufacturing companies that are willing to help Americans, and that we're not going to help people who want to offshore jobs. Now, the devil's in the details, but the sentiment I like.
But he's talking about patriotism, isn't he?
Right, I think so.
But in an industry that is driven by profits. People do what they do in business. It's all about labor,
right?
Taking the labor overseas because it's a heck of a lot cheaper. And so how do we get to that point where what would you be willing to give businesses to bring their jobs back?
Well, first of all, I wouldn't incentivize offshoring American jobs. I'll tell you, Ed, I have had the opportunity to travel a little bit, and people do really like American goods. I mean, when I was in Saudi Arabia or Turkey or other parts of the world, people like American-made products. They're the best. People know you can get it cheaper in China, but can you get it better? I mean, if you got to fix stuff every now and again. But so that is the first thing. The other thing is that, you know, if you only go price on with some of these countries that are paying people nothing and abusing their rights to do so, can't beat them on that. But if you're making good quality, reliable American products at a competitive price, you know, we can compete with the world.
Did he say enough about the tax code tonight?
I think he made the key points about it, which is that the richest have to pay their fair share, the Buffett rule, no more of this people like Mitt Romney paying 13.9% on his gazillion dollars when secretaries are paying, you know, 35% and stuff like that.
All right, let's talk about the campaign for 30 seconds.
Right.
Isn't Isn't this the biggest golden goose that the Republicans have ever put on the table for the Democrats to carve up? You actually have a poster boy in the name of Mitt Romney who is showing America, what tax fairness is all about.
On the one hand,
I mean, how can you lose that issue?
Well, on the one hand, we got the guy who wants to call the president the food stamp president, and on the other hand, we got the guy who thinks corporations are people and has proven that he's all about the 1%. I think this is tailor-made for us, but you know what? We can go to sleep on that. We better get active, we better get busy, and we better play like we're 10 points behind.
Congressman Keith Ellison of Minnesota with us tonight. Thanks so much for joining.